Things I didn't know I loved. How focusing on small pleasures can help when we feel scared and overwhelmed. In a private session, my student Shoshana Hellman read me her response to a prompt she'd discovered in a book I'd recommended, Writing for Your Life by master writing teacher, activist, and author Deena Metzger. Things I didn't know I loved. The prompt was asking for more than just a standard gratitude list. The instruction was to dig beyond the parts of our lives we're obviously grateful for and to look instead for things we might typically overlook. Shoshana's list was creative, surprising, and entertaining. I found it riveting. And like so many of the lists I ask my students to generate in class as a precursor to writing something longer, the list revealed much about its author. I was so moved by Shoshana's response that I asked her if I could read it to my students in my next writing class as an example before giving the prompt to them. She said yes, and then gave me permission to share it here with you as well. Things I Didn't Know I Loved by Shoshana Hellman. The feel of my back against this chair. The way my hair sticks out when I wake up. The descent of calm that accompanies a cloud-filled sky. The smooth writing experience of a gel pen. All shades of blue. The ding that announces an incoming text. My innate capacity to learn complex information, even at high speed, from fast-talking lecturers. The rounded edges of my favorite teacup. The perfect height of my kitchen island. High-protein, high-fiber bread. A simple woven placemat for my table. Wearing glasses instead of contact lenses. Writing daily about everything and nothing. Audiobooks. Walking after every meal. Talking to strangers in the elevator. Baskets for housing lesser-used kitchen appliances. The carpet runner in my front hallway. Taking my seat for meditation. Chicken salad. Netflix. Women's professional basketball. Watermelon. A bench to sit on while putting on shoes. Soy milk as a cream substitute. Fresh air wafting in through open windows. Using paper towels as napkins. A 2-bedroom apartment for one person. The movement of the sun on the horizon throughout the year. Walking the same neighborhoods repeatedly. My AirPods. Protein smoothies with spinach in them. A simple uniform of jeans and solid-colored t-shirts. An organized freezer. A long drive to meet a friend. The perfect curves and drape of an artificial plant. Hoodies in many colors. Helping a grieving friend. Cottage cheese on toast. Showering in the dark. Sunset reflecting off the full-length mirror in the hall. The opportunity to be of service. Knowing I've lived a good life. Readiness if the end is near. In my next Wednesday writing class, I used Shoshana's piece to introduce our final prompt of the day. After I read her version to the class, I asked my students to write their own version of Things I Didn't Know I Loved for 20 minutes and to compose it as a list. Here's the version I came up with. Laura's list. Things I didn't know I loved. Long text threads with friends that I could go back to and revisit, full of news, links to podcasts and news articles, and inspiring videos and photos from our lives. The feeling of sun and a breeze on my skin at the same time when I'm hiking. Photographing the same spots on my favorite local walk over and over in different seasons and under different conditions. talking to an old friend I haven't talked to in a very long time and picking up the conversation and the ease between us right where we left off. Well-done toast that has a crunchy surface, smeared with ghee, butter, or almond butter. Thin slices of gluten-free millet bread from Staff of Life Bakery. Having a window at face level that I could crank open in the rain when I'm taking a hot, steamy Epsom salt bath. This is the ultimate luxury. Sleeping more than my usual 5 or 6 hours, it's amazing to feel deeply rested. A novel that is so good I can't put it down. Making time to read during the day when I'm wide awake instead of when I'm fading at night when the book becomes just a sleeping pill. Flowers and gardens that are fading no longer at the peak of their beauty. My perfect CPAP pillow that is a small arc that fits perfectly behind my head and signals to my body that it's time for sleep. I take it with me everywhere in the world. The combination of sautéed onions, mushrooms, sun-dried tomatoes, tiny pieces of broccoli, spinach, feta cheese, and eggs, scrambled together with cut-up corn tortillas in the mix. It's even more perfect with salsa and avocado on top. Speaking of avocado, a perfectly ripe Hass avocado that I picked out at the store. The mangoes I ate in Egypt. I never thought I liked mango before, but then my daughter hand-fed me one in Egypt, and it was one of the most luscious, sensual, pleasurable things I've ever eaten. Having written. Not writing, but having written. My brother. It took us a lifetime to finally get as close as we are today. Sitting with birth, sitting with death. Being able to finally say, I'm sorry I was wrong, without choking on the words or having them lodge in my throat. The silence after someone reads a profound piece of writing. Watching all the credits after the movie is over. The satisfaction of deep tiredness mixed with accomplishment after hiking 12 or 15 miles on the Camino de Santiago. Standing under a waterfall, any waterfall, the power of the water washing everything away. Seeing bits of myself and my adult children, seeing them separate from me, yet somehow still bound together. Photography, the pleasure of a new hobby and new ways of seeing. Spending time with another photographer, not talking, but moving side by side or near each other, capturing what we see through our lenses. Motion theater, a combination of improv, storytelling, and dance that I've been practicing since before the pandemic. The smooth feel and click of mahjong tiles. The pleasure of shuffling a deck of cards and making a perfect bridge. Playing euchre or hearts with friends. Cooking a meal and having all its components finished at the same time so everything is ready all at once. Swimming laps after not doing so for 40 years. The glide through the pool, the light flashing from the floor, secretly racing the person in the next lane when I know there's a chance I could equal or surpass them. Keeping my fingernails short. Super short haircuts before I travel. Getting a pedicure in a foreign country. The white streak in my hair for the last 19 years, thanks to chemotherapy. My grandson's endless card tricks. Waiting in airport by myself and being totally anonymous. The seasonal ribbon the dog groomer ties around Luna's neck when we take her to get groomed. How clean and fresh Luna is until that first trip to the beach. Coming into the kitchen in the morning and seeing that Karen has washed the floor, cleaned the stove, and done the dishes. Jeans that fit perfectly. Wearing the same clothes on multiple days in a row so I don't have to think about what to put on. The ease and convenience of teaching on Zoom. Salad with fresh garden tomatoes, very thinly sliced red onion and cucumber, feta cheese with olive oil, balsamic, salt, and fresh basil. Dexter, the original TV show about the serial killer who only kills bad people. The heated seats in my 2016 Prius. The heated seat on my Toto toilet and the bidet that goes with it. I am so glad I splurged on this daily luxury the last time we had to replace our toilet. Freshly cleaned eyeglasses. Conversations in the grocery store aisle with friends I rarely see. Greetings between dog owners when I'm out walking Luna. When we shared our responses in small groups, the lists were inspiring, touching, and specific. Each one gave an intimate window into my students' lives. In debriefing the assignment as a whole class, many people said they could have just kept writing and writing and writing. I felt the same way. In fact, I couldn't help it. I just kept thinking of things to add to my list. The view of the garden outside my office window throughout the year, dormant, blossoming, vibrant, and dying back. The way our yellow lab steals our socks and holds them softly in her mouth without destroying them. The ease of carrying a laptop around rather than being tied to a desktop computer. Counting cash and facing all the bills in the same direction. Counting out foreign currency when making a purchase and never quite knowing what it's worth. Getting on an airplane, knowing an adventure is coming. Travel blogging, pairing just the right photos with words in a post. Using my dead mother's things in my kitchen on a daily basis. Outdoor showers. Friends I've had for 40 or 50 years. All that trust and history. The Spanish pronunciation of my name, Laura. I think it's sexy. When we reported on our takeaways at the end of class, people talked about how good it felt to focus on small things we love, while we're living with so much fear, overwhelm, and chaos. It was a simple prompt, but we all left class feeling grounded and smiling. So you too may want to give it a try. Here's the prompt again. Things I didn't know I loved. Make a list. Dig below things in your life you're obviously grateful for, and look instead for things you might typically overlook. In fact, why don't you start a list in the comment section below? What are a few things you didn't know you loved? Would you like to get out of the country and go on an adventure with Laura? Write, Travel, Transform, Cuba, a writer's journey of cultural awakening and creative rebirth. Just 90 miles from Florida lies an island where time moves differently, where stories flow like music through cobblestone streets, and where creativity isn't just encouraged, it's considered the essential lifeblood of the country. Cuba, a place where poets are celebrated as national treasures, where neighborhood rumbas become sacred ceremonies, and where the written word carries the power to transform lives. Since the Cuban Revolution in 1959, there's been a sustained movement to elevate the arts as essential to human dignity. This isn't just tourism, it's cultural immersion. You'll witness a society where former upscale homes have become cultural centers, featuring literary workshops, artist residencies, and music performances, where passing peanut vendors sing their wares and impromptu dancing erupts on street corners. This is your invitation to join Write, Travel, Transform, Cuba, a 14-day writer's journey that combines daily writing practice with profound cultural exploration. From April 13th to 26th, 2026, you'll experience Cuba through the eyes of its people, the storytellers, musicians, and artists who have turned decades of isolation into an artistic renaissance. In Caribbean culture, storytellers have always been revered as keepers of collective memory. In Cuba, these voices haven't disappeared under economic challenges. They've become more essential than ever. You'll meet local historians, artists, and cultural practitioners who've dedicated their lives to preserving Cuba's treasures. Join me in Cuba for a rich cultural awakening. The link is in the show notes. And remember, every time you click the heart, leave a comment, or share a post, you're making it easier for new readers to discover the writer's journey.